Well, talking about boosting revenue now, let's look at the National Sugar Development Council, which has reported that Nigerians consume 1.7 million metric tons of sugar annually, and 250 metric hectares of land must be cultivated to meet that demand. However, the council has been receiving complaints and reports from operators on the hurdles they face with regards to importing the machinery needed for both factory and field operations. Consequently, the council has been seeking the full implementation of a zero import duty incentive on machineries as contained in the Nigerian Sugar Master Plan. Well, how far have they gotten with this effort? What fruit has it bared? We have the Executive Director of the National Sugar Development Council, Mr. Zach Adedeji, joining us to bring us up to date with that. Good to speak with you, Mr. Adedeji. Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, in July, the Central Bank of Nigeria restricted importation of sugar into the country to 3 companies: Boa Sugar Refinery Limited, Dangote Sugar Refinery PLC, and Golden Sugar Company. Has that kind of refocused demand to the local producers? Has it brought the expected objective to the space and drive towards the Sugar Master Plan?
Thank you. Just to correct that impression, we did not restrict the importation of sugar to those 3 refineries that you mentioned. There is Nigeria Sugar Master Plan that were put in place in 2013. And in that master plan, what it shows, or the objectives, are to increase sugar production in Nigeria, to stop unbridled importation, and also to increase employment rate and to contribute to the production of ethanol and generation of electricity. So in this plan, we have what we call backward integration program, where we outline the condition for those that will participate in this restrictive market. So in 2013, those refineries you mentioned were signatory to this backward integration program, which is import substitution program that we are running in Nigeria Sugar Development Council. So what CBN emphasized then was that the dollar or our forex will be restricted to those people that have signed up to this our backward integration program. As at that time, we have Boa, Dangote, and Golden Flour Mill that were part of that program. And that is what CBN emphasized then. There are open business for others. Just to give you statistics, as you mentioned, the consumption in Nigeria today is 1.7 million metric tons, and that will require that we have 250,000 hectares being cultivated under cane for us to meet that sugar sufficiency. Not only that, when you look at Africa as a market, we have 19 million metric tons shortfall in our consumption, which means in Africa today, annually, we import 9 million metric tons into Africa for our local consumption. Nigeria is better positioned to fill this gap that we have. So there are opportunities for new entrants into this market. So we did not restrict the importation to these 3 refineries, but they were the ones that have signed up, and they were the ones that have made each investment in our backward integration program that we have.
All right, Mr. Adedeji, thank you for that clarification. But we would like to know, with this, being the ones that have, invested in the backward integration and have been approved, to follow up with the program, what impact has that step brought to the sugar space? That's basically what we would like to know.
No, if you, I don't know whether you are aware that 7 years ago, before we start this program, we were importing refined sugar into Nigeria. Today, we've stopped importation of refined sugar into Nigeria. So what we do today is to import the raw sugar into Nigeria. These 3 companies you mentioned, They've established refineries that have employed many people. Also, they've contributed in tax payments to the government. So we've moved from importing the old refined sugar to only importing raw sugar into the country. Not only that, they've made significant investments in Nigeria. If I start with Dangote, he has invested heavily in Savannah, also in Nasarawa, now in Tunga. The same thing goes for Bua in Lafiaji in Kwara State, also for Golden Penny in Sunti in Niger State. So they've made significant investment, and today we don't import any refined sugar again into Nigeria. They import only raw sugar, which they refine. And what this has done is that for those that consume these products in Nigeria, instead of them looking for forex to import this from abroad, today they use our naira to purchase this thing from all these companies that we have. So we've made significant improvement from where we've started from, where we are importing refined sugar, to reduce it to only importing raw sugar now that we are refining here in Nigeria, though the value addition, which is what we are working on now, is very small compared to our target from the beginning. And that is why the focus now is on backward integration program, which led us to what you use as your introduction on zero duty, which Mr. President approved that we should do for all equipment and machinery that we want to use for this sugar backward integration program.
Okay, so, you know, this sugar has the potential to make about $700 million, you know, yearly in revenue. Where are we right now with in revenue from sugar?
No, you know, when you say revenue, when you what I think you meant is that sugar, if it is locally produced, we will save minimum of 700 million US dollar that we use to import the raw sugar today. And that is what I've explained to you, that we've made significant progress. If we have the sugar localized, it is not only that we are going to save that in the forex that you mentioned. We will have potential to create more than 100,000 direct jobs for those that will be working on the farm. Not only that, we will generate electricity, we will generate ethanol, and also the livestock feeding material that we can use for the consumption of the livestock. So if you ask for the progress, we've made significant progress in what we've done by implementing the BIP plans, by putting refinery in place, by acquiring the land, and also where we have problem now is where we want to face now, which is in our feed cultivation, putting all this land under cane, which will require huge machinery and equipment. And that is why, in the wisdom of the Mr. President, granted us the waiver that all this equipment that we want to import, we should import it at zero duty, just to reduce the cost and to make this the factory competitive. Remember that we want to feed Africa. If we are to do this, all these local impediments must be removed so that our company and the price of the product can be competitive in the world market.
All right, Sadedije, we would like to explore, you know, the issue with the complaints about the zero import duty and all that. But I'm just curious, what stops us from producing the raw sugar?
No, okay. Let me just explain the sugar value chain. There is nothing stopping us from producing, and actually that is our target, that is our goal. But for us to produce raw sugar, you need cane. For us to have this cane, it is not all land, because sugar or sugarcane is a technical work, is a technical business. It is not all the land that are suitable for sugar cultivation. I just explained to you now, for us to have 1.7 million metric tons to produce this, we need 250,000 hectares of land to produce this. And then just to put it in perspective, where you will put 250,000 hectares of land, this is cities, villages that we have to put together, that we will have to relocate. So doing all these things takes time and require huge investment. And as you are aware, that to cultivate 250,000 hectares of land, we are not going to use our hand, it's not going to be manual. That is why we need this huge equipment. And you know the restriction we have on the usage or scarcity of the forex that we have. So those are the impediments that we have. And that is why we are refocusing our energy and strategy and resources to making sure that we have this land based on our graduated plan, cultivated so that we can produce the raw sugar that we are importing today from the sugar cane that we grow from our soil.
All right, you've mentioned in different occasions that the council is daily receiving complaints and reports from, operators on the hurdles they face with regards to, importing machineries needed for both, factory and field operations. I want you to paint a picture of how bad it is and, the impact it's having.
Oh, no, it's very bad, and I will explain. The problem we face is two phases. One is the scarcity of forex that we need. For us to actually import the needed equipment and machinery, we will need roughly of $2 billion for a start to do this. And then the problem we have with our forex. That's number one. The other one is logistics. When I say logistics, is that there is this automated system put in place by Ministry of Finance. They call it IDEC. That is Import Duty Exemption Certificate Platform. That is where you will preload all the equipment and machinery that you will want to get exemption for. Because the platform is new, there are this learning problem, like teaching problem that we have in getting them into the country. For example, when you find it difficult to get the correct HS code for sugar mill, because sugar mill consists of many sub-section or sub-equipment. And when you fill into this system, you just put sugar mill. By the time the consignment comes, there will be nothing to match that exactly. And the custom will not respond to that. It is in anticipation or to correct this problem that we have. That is why we have the stakeholder meeting that you reported earlier on, to educate both the operator, the custom, and Ministry of Finance on how to properly fill the form, put the necessary equipment, and put the necessary plan in place, because it requires time before you get all the approval. So those are the problems. And as you are aware, that the 90% of this equipment and machinery that we need will be imported. So if you don't have forex, and then you have this logistic problem, so there is no way we can go ahead. So we identify this as a big hurdle that we need to cross, or the challenge that we need to overcome if we want to meet our self-sufficiency in sugar production in the country.
Well, thank God. I guess that's why we have the council, the Sugar Council, to help, to deal with this hurdle. So we'd like to know what plans the council has, especially to deal with the issue of FX, which has been a major problem, not just, here, but manufacturers and everybody is talking about that. Are you in collaboration maybe with the CBN, with banks, to make it easier for the individuals who want to import these machineries? Is the council intervening, to soften the problem?
Actually, that is what we are doing. We've made some efforts, and then we've had collaboration, and that is why you see that Central Bank issued the circular you mentioned, because we want to approach this holistically, to identify in planning what it is required for the next 3, 4, 5 years, so we can have that proper plan with Central Bank of Nigeria. And that we are doing well, and then to the extent of the limitation or the scarcity that they are helping us in that one. On the other hand, to make sure that we don't have logistic problem, so we've agreed a streamlined process that all the required equipment by this, our operator for their backward integration program will be analyzed, and then all this will be documented, sent directly to Ministry of Finance, get it approved, and preload it before we start importing. So we are working, and then we've identified and actually appointed a desk officer from the council to collaborate with operator in putting all these list of equipment and their origin together so that they can send it as a bulk to the other regulatory agency like Central Bank and Federal Ministry of Finance for the proper approval so that we can remove this logistic issue. On the Forex, to the limit of what we have, because we all know that it's very scarce now, so we are working seriously with Central Bank of Nigeria to make sure that we prioritize the allocation to this equipment, because this will stop the recurrent annual requirement of raw sugar importation if we can import equipment so that we can produce and we can export and earn this Forex. And then the CBN also has seen the value in this, and they are working seriously with us to make sure that we overcome this. Also, the huge support from the Ministry of Trade and Investment and the political will of Mr. President to make sure that we succeed in this backward integration, just to be in line that we grow what we hit and we hit what we grow.
And hopefully we can produce some of these equipments here in Nigeria. All right, Mr. Zach Adedeji, thank you so much for joining us on Business Morning, the Executive Director, National Sugar Development. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, after the break, AFEX Commodities Market Update is next. Do stay with us. This is Business Morning.